Hi, I'm the Chief from the Marathon Mates. On this episode, we're going to have some fun as we try and determine what makes someone a compulsive runner. So we will deep dive into the topics and try and work it out. Are we compulsive runners, and how can we detox ourselves? For some, running isn't just for fun or a sport. It's a structure and an identity. And sometimes it's even the thing that some of us cling to when everything else feels chaotic. And we're also going to take a test to see how compulsive we are. And as always, we're going to have a laugh along the way. We love running and we love sharing our adventures of running around the world. We are the only podcast with 4 7-star world major marathon finishes. And this is a Flying Runr Podcast. Are you ready to run? Let's go.
Teach the flying runner, run far, run free. Host the 7 stars, inclusive as can be. It's the flying runner for you and me.
Now, just before we get into the fun stuff of tonight, let me introduce my co-hosts. So we have Team Ellis, Tara and Tim, and we've got Tony. Guys, how's everyone been? And more importantly, how's your week been? I'm going to start off with Tony first.
Our week for running wasn't great. I didn't get a run in at all. We went for a walk on Saturday morning, and that's been about it. We have just been really flat chat, doing some stuff. Had a very productive weekend. Finally started getting some stuff done around the house. And we got some damage, as I mentioned last Monday at the storm. So that's sort of given us a bit of impetus to start doing some stuff. But I really have enjoyed just not doing anything. So nothing. Zilch, 3K walk on Saturday morning.
Very nice. Now, Team Ellis, you guys had an eventful weekend.
Tara?
Yeah, we sure did. So I think I've only done about 35Ks this week, but I think probably half of that was in walking as well. So a bit like Tony, not a lot of running. There was a lot of walking this week, but we did. Tim and I went down to Launceston. It was Tim's birthday last week, so we flew down on his birthday to celebrate his birthday. And also we've got 2 good friends that we have also run Berlin Marathon and Chicago Marathon with us. It was their wedding on Saturday night, so we went to that at Launceston, which was beautiful. But we did a lot of walking around Launceston, Dove Lake, around Cradle Mountain, Cataract Gorge. We did Launceston Parkrun. Now, if anyone gets a chance, highly recommend Launceston Parkrun. Beautiful, beautiful course. It's a little bit on path, and then 90% of it, I would say, would be on, or maybe 80% would be on this really nice flat trail. It's easy running, beautiful. We had the perfect weather, so can't complain. But yeah, I think we did most of ours as walking, wasn't it, Tim, this week?
Yeah. We ran obviously parkrun, but most of it was walking, which were good. It was actually quite surprising because we didn't mention on our socials that we were going down there for anything or a particular event or anything like that other than my birthday. But it was amazing how many people just associated the fact that we were traveling with a running race of some sort, and people were going, "What running race are you doing? Where are you going? Why are you down in Tassie? What event's down there?" So it was quite interesting that we can't just jump on an aeroplane and go away for a fun weekend without somebody saying, "What's the event?" So we must be knowing somewhere, Tara, about traveling and running.
Don't know where that's come from.
No, but we had perfect weather for Launceston Parkrun. The rest of it was pretty average, but the Launceston Parkrun weather was great. The volunteers were awesome. And it was just, easy access. It's a kilometre walk, if that, from the CBD of Launceston, if you can call it a CBD. It's pretty small, but easy walk. It starts where the AFL football stadium is there, where the Hawthorn Football Club plays at the University of Tasmania, and then just runs along the levee bank of the river there, the Esk River, and then along paths and stuff. It was just stunning. It was a great run. We enjoyed that.
I had been doing a bit more than I normally do, but just shorter ones. I really have to kind of get back into it if I want to stick to my doing 26 Ks on January 1 for 2026. At how I'm going at the moment, I think it could just be 2.6 Ks I do. But I did get new lenses for my glasses over the weekend, and it's like new glasses day. It's like new shoe day. I can see so much better, but I can also I've noticed how not dirty, how smudgy my laptop screen is. So while it's good, it's also scary at the same time. So I think I may clean the screen later. Well, thank you guys. Now it's that time of the week where we talk about the news. Tim, what's been happening around the world this week?
Well, this week we've had a couple of almost major type things, I guess. So the first one was Cape Town Marathon, which we know is on the verge of becoming the 8th marathon, world major marathon. The entries for the 2026 event have now been sent out to all participants who've qualified for the ballot. I haven't seen any stats yet on who made the cut or how many people made the cut, but I'm guessing there'd be a fair few disappointed people who were applying this year and had booked accommodation in advance, thinking that it would be the 8th star, only to now find themselves they're competing with a whole heap of runners this year that didn't make it, and their entries have carried over into next year. So it'll be interesting when they release that information as to how they all went. Another one where the ballot's been one and done, I guess. And if you've got your emails in your inbox this week saying that you're in, well done, congratulations. And for those who didn't, well, come and join us on Travelling Fits Tour with a million other people in 2027, I guess. That's that news. The other bit of news this week from the Abbott's side of things is that we had the Shanghai Marathon in China over the weekend. And as we know, this is the candidacy period for the Shanghai Marathon, where they're assessing it to be the 9th Abbott star. I don't know about you guys, but I always find it very difficult to get any news on this event. And it was only in articles I saw yesterday on social media, which were posted by Abbott's, that actually provided me with any real information. And this is something they're going to have to fix. If they want to be a worldwide event, they need to expand beyond the realms of WeChat or whatever it is that they use over there in China, and expand into the worlds of Facebook, Instagram, et cetera, that other chunks of the world use. It was even difficult for me to gain results. Looking at the results last night after the race had been done, I struggled to actually find the race results. In fact, I found a website that said the winners of the 2025 Shanghai Marathon are, and it listed a whole heap of names. And then an hour or two later, I saw on the Abbott's page a list of the winners, and it was different names. So there are some things that they need to do there. And I think one of the other worrying things that I saw, and I don't know whether it was Shanghai Marathon or their major sponsor, Nike, and again, I'm not sure how true it is, but it was on social media that I saw there, was that Nike's released or did release a special sub 3 hour race jacket, which is only available to those who've clocked a 3 hour or less time in Shanghai. So I thought that was a little bit inclusive of all those sub 3, but exclusive of everybody else who would run there. So I hope that's not something that they want to continue doing. I don't think that will go down well with a lot of people. But yeah, I don't know what your thoughts are. Just on the winners quickly, guys, before we talk about it. Based on what I could find, based on the results I could see online, Milkisa Mengesha from Ethiopia won the event in 2:06:25. And Milkisha is the 2024 Berlin Marathon winner. And he finished apparently 2 seconds in front of fellow Ethiopian DeWitt Walty. Now, I don't know what the result looked like. I haven't seen any videos of the result on the usual channels that we go through. So I'm presuming that what I'm hearing there from Abbott's is correct. And in the women's race, Bridget Kosgei, who we know is a major marathon winner, she's won 5 major marathons before. I think she also held the world record at one time, ran a time of 2 hours, 16 minutes and 36 seconds to win the event there. So looking at the results, it looks like a fastish sort of a course. I think they're still making some changes to it. One of the comments I saw was that they didn't actually release the course details until a couple of weeks beforehand as to where the race was and how it was going to be held and the streets it was going to run on. So I think Shanghai's got a bit of work, guys. I don't know about what your thoughts are on it all, but yeah, I think from what I can see as an outsider looking in, it may be run and done really well on the ground, which we heard from our friend last year who came on the podcast. But yeah, from an outsider looking in, it doesn't look as appealing.
Yeah, Tim, on socials, I saw a whole lot more around Shanghai this year than what we did last year. And for our listeners and the loyal listeners that we have would remember back in episode 75, we interviewed Dale Q, who ran the Shanghai Marathon last year. And we were the only ones talking about the Shanghai Marathon. So, but this year there was a lot more social media, like individual results. And if you go into Facebook now and do a quick Shanghai Marathon search in the search bar, you do see there's a picture of Bridget crossing the line, for example, in 2:16. There are a lot more posts this year. So, but nowhere in comparison to what we're used to, right? So, yeah. The big thing for me for Shanghai is that it's all gearing up, I think, for a double whammy next year. A double announcement from Abbott's to go 8 and 9 in one go. That's my general feel, because I think that based on a lot of the articles and stories people have been writing, they're saying what a positive experience Shanghai was. So Abbott's maybe pushed into a situation where they actually say, well, let's make it a double announcement. Who knows? But on the sub-3 jacket, my God, how many people wear Nike shoes? I don't. I never have. I would have liked to have tried a pair of Alpha Flies, I guess, at one stage, but far too expensive for me. As everyone knows, I never pay full retail for my shoes, and I could never get them at a bargain. But I think if that's where Nike want to target their market, that's fine. Go for it. But my big question is who would wear it? Because I know so many people who are quick would find that they just would not wear something like that, because the people that we associate with, especially in our community, are very inclusive and very mindful and respectful of all paces. So if I saw someone wearing a sub-3, I'm probably going to make some judgment about themselves, and rightly or wrongly, unfortunately, a lot of other people would be in the same boat, I'd imagine. So
No, I would agree, because there's this couple from the States which I follow on socials, and they're hysterical. Like some of the clips they put on, they posted when they were at the start, but like one thing they posted which I found really interesting, they said that there was no live tracking app for it.
Because they use your face, so they know where you are anyway.
I'll give you that one. But it's like all the reports I've read that the expo is one of the best expos, so naturally I'm excited about that. And the drop bag was like a silver one, and it looked quite cool. And then they got another bag post race, so everything about it seems good. But the one thing that I've read, and even previous years, is that the rego, it only happens, I think, about 5 months prior to the race, and then you don't find out till about 3-4 months prior to the race. So how they've got it set up at the moment, it doesn't gives someone who's more of a beginner runner ample time to build up. So I think that that's something, if they do become major number 9, they'll definitely have to change. But Tony, I just want to, and just to your point before, in which you think that Abbott's may do a double announcement, my gut is they won't. I don't think they'll announce 2 in the 1 year. My gut is that Shanghai won't get announced. Sorry, may get announced next year, but it won't be a major until 28. That's
28, 20, not 27.
No, because technically Cape Town will be announced as a major in 27. I don't think they'll do 2 in the 1 year.
It's I think, Andy, it's going to be a very interesting year next year because, Abbott's is going to certainly be looking at it from the dollars, and the Cape Town blowout this year has certainly put them in a position where potentially the announcement will be made.
Nice pun.
I know. I didn't even think of that prior, but anyway.
Tara, you got some thoughts on it? I know you sent me an article today on it as well, I think.
Yeah, look, the guy that I read a thing on the World Marathon Majors group that Robert Wang has, and I did send it to everyone as well. I thought his review of the Shanghai Marathon was actually really, really good. He described the course wonderfully. I would love to do it. There is still a lot of up and down, too much unknown for me, I guess. As Lucia said, you don't get picked for the race until about 4 or 5 months out. How do you organise your life around that? A lot of people need a lot more time than 3, 4 or 5 months to be able to organise a trip to China, especially. In regards to the sub 3 jackets, look, Boston has a Boston qualifier t-shirt that you can have and buy. Nobody's been up in arms about that. I find the whole thing very elitist, to be entirely honest. I don't think
anyone debate you about the Boston t-shirt, Tara.
Yeah, I think there was a number of people up in arms around the qualifier stuff, and it's is it Tracksmith? They do one, and
yeah.
I just find the whole thing very elitist. I'm so sorry. I'm a very inclusive runner. I don't care if you run fast. I don't care if you run as fast as Kipchoge or if you run as slow as I do, or a sub 7 marathon, or if you go over 7 hours. I don't care. You're still doing 42.2 kilometers or 26.2 miles. It is a long way. We all do things for a different reason. You should be very proud of yourself if you can do a sub 3, but you should also be very proud of yourself if you can just run a marathon, no matter what speed you are. So to me, that's how I feel about it anyway.
Well said, Tara.
Well said.
Yep. All right. And then the last bit of news I've got here is that this week the ballot, believe it or not, for the Melbourne Marathon Festival has been done. And people again should have entries in their emails right now. It's the first time they've done a ballot for the Melbourne Marathon. And as we know, we've talked about it here on the podcast over the last couple of years. The Melbourne Marathon Festival has become so popular that it sells out in the blink of an eye every year. You have to be online at the right time, have the right luck getting in through the email, through the internet links without it crashing. So this year they had more than 52,000 runners apply to enter into the ballot for just on 30,000 spots available. The festival has said, the Melbourne Marathon Festival has said that youth numbers continue to drive the surge and that women's running continues to also be on the rise. And that at next year's event, they're going to have runners from more than 145 countries coming together on the start line. So it's a dynamic, ambitious field, and it's the most dynamic and ambitious field that they have ever seen, according to the Marathon Festival. So, again, this is great news for the Melbourne Marathon Festival event, but bad news for the rest of us because it shows how popular this great sport is. And as we've talked about before, it's getting harder and harder to enter into these events. I know Gold Coast Marathon entries go on sale this week as well. That will be another one where they will be sold out in record time again this year. It's getting difficult to get in there, guys, and I just don't know what more they can do about it. Ballots seem to be the fairest way, but I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I would agree. And just to clarify, for our listeners, with Melbourne, it was just the marathon and the half marathon that was a ballot system. The 10K and the 5K, they will go on sale next year. Tim, I agree. No matter which way they do it, because people were complaining, I missed out. I was so close to getting legend status for Melbourne. But I think whichever way a race does it, someone's going to complain. I got lucky. I entered the ballot for the half. I thought if I get it bonus, happy days. I'll use that as a shakeout run before my trip next year. So I got in. I was happy. But some people who really wanted to get in, they didn't get in. But it's potluck. It's no matter which way, because if they've done it how they've done it previous years and how Gold Coast do it, people will probably get PTSD from the famous blue line. If you try to get Taylor Swift tickets, I tell you, it was a nightmare. So I just think there's no matter which way they go, you're not going to please everyone. So it's lucky we've done all the majors when we did, because Tim, as you said, it's just getting more and more popular. But thank God for our friends at Travelling Fit, because they're the key travel provider of the Nike Melbourne Marathon Festival.
You were saying, Tim, that there's 52,000 runners that applied to enter for the ballot with just 30,000 spots. What is the chances that they can actually increase the size of the field for Melbourne? Does anybody know?
They do have road closure issues. So like what happened with Tony when he ran it, and with our other friend Tina, who ran it years ago, they do cut you off because of time limits on the road down on the St Kilda end, which is the furthest part away from the start-finish precinct. So you have to be off the road there by, I think, 11 or 12 o'clock or whenever it is. And so they bring you back into the MCG. But remember, they run the half marathon and the marathon pretty much at the same time down there. So you end up with some pretty big fields. And when we did the half marathon, Tara, if you recall, we were getting mixed in with the marathon runners, and it was getting quite tight in those areas, particularly as you run up St Kilda Avenue and turn right onto Flinders Street and then come down into the MCG over the bridge that takes you into the MCG. It actually gets quite narrow through there, and it gets narrow, obviously, entering into the MCG as well. So, yeah, it's they could probably increase it a little bit, but having both races on the same time at the same day probably limits that somewhat, I would think.
I just wonder if maybe they could have, like, the amount of money that it would be bringing into the economy for Melbourne. Can they not close the roads down for just that little bit longer and separate out the half marathon to run maybe even 45 minutes to an hour later, just to spread that field out a little bit, or maybe separate them out a little bit. Like, the amount of money that it brings into that economy for Melbourne and Victoria, and especially after COVID with them having lockdowns and the amount of money that they lost out on, this would be a great way to boost that revenue back up. I don't know. That's why I'm just asking these questions. That's all.
Yeah, I'm not sure. And literally, they do the 10 and the 5 on the same day, don't they, as well?
Yeah. So generally how it works, I think I could be wrong with timings, but I think the marathon is either 6 or 6:30. The 10K is at 7. Then I think the half marathon goes about half hour or an hour after the 10K, and then the 5K is not till about 11ish or something like that. But one thing I like about this race is, and because I'm always at the back, as the half marathon goes down St Kilda Road, you generally see the elites of the marathon coming the other way, and it's just so fabulous to see them run. It's just like, and everyone's cheering for them, but to see them in their zone, I love it.
Yeah, the other interesting thing, that 30,000 relates to both the half combined total of half and full. So, and just while we were talking, I was just doing some research on the Melbourne. It sold out last year, but they've got 15,000 places for the marathon. And according to Reddit, and as we know, there's some pretty passionate people on Reddit that have a lot of time on their hands and can troll through results. Out of that 15,000 who registered, there was 2,497 that did not start. So, and there was 12,145 completions. So, so Luch, you're good with sums. I'm probably thinking, what's that? 20% of the people who register of what the number is didn't even make it to the start line. So maybe if they solve that problem, they may stand a chance of being able to increase the field or look after more people. But that's really interesting. I saw the same thing at Amsterdam where, they say it was a 30,000 person field for the marathon this year, but when it comes down to the final finishes, there was only 22,000, and they don't list did not finish and did not start. So who knows what the numbers were there, but that's a huge chunk. That's 7,000 people who'd registered for a race who didn't either start it or complete it. So very interesting.
There's two thoughts there, isn't there? The organisers can just say, well, we don't care, we've already got the money, or they can try and push it back in and get some extra people running, because they'll end up with excess stock and T-shirts and medals and fruit and all the rest of it. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a challenge for all race organisers to work out better ways of doing this. But
so many variables in running a race.
And I know that a lot of people have to pull out like last minute due to injuries and stuff like that. But there is also a lot of people that buy these tickets or get in through the Ballot and stuff and then just pay the money and then don't do anything with it. So if you are going to be one of those people, maybe think about reselling that ticket back on so that it's a usable ticket rather than just going to waste. To you, it might be just a $200, well, that's it, and it's flushed down the drain. But to somebody else, that could be their dream to do. So just be aware that if you do buy a marathon entry or an entry into a race and you're not going to use it, see if you can resell it on. Usually back through the organisers is the best way to do it. Or if you've got a good friend that you can transfer money through easily, yeah, I do recommend that if you can.
And that's the news this week, Lucia.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for that, Tim. So now we're going to have some fun and we're going to determine amongst ourselves, are we compulsive runners? And to help us along the journey, Tim has enlisted our friend ChatGPT to ask some questions. So what I thought we'd do is it's just simple yes or no questions, and then at the end we'll see out of the four of us who's the most compulsive. So now this is going to be interesting. So first question: when you see someone,
can I just butt in? I don't think we need to have a quiz to understand who on this panel is the most compulsive, but I'm looking forward to this. So
no, hang on. I'm going to go. And for our listeners that unfortunately don't watch it on YouTube, we're all pointing at each other, but I think the consensus is that it's either Tim or myself. Otherwise, so let's see if it's fact or fiction. So question 1. When you see someone running on the street, do you instantly judge their cadence, shoes, or form, and consider overtaking them even though you're not dressed for running? Tara?
Maybe. Yes, I'll say yes. I don't judge their cadence, shoes, or form, or consider overtaking them because there's not a chance I can do that. But I do look at them and go, I wish I was doing it. Like, especially if I'm in a car and I see somebody running, I'm like, I wish I was running rather than driving. So yes, I can probably say yes to that.
Tony?
I'm going to say no, because while I would look at their shoes and I would maybe make a comment about it seems so effortless when they do it, I would not consider overtaking them unless I'm in my car. So I am going to say no, because out of all those variants of that question, it's probably more the shoes I'm looking at than anything else.
And Tim?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm
Straight up,
I'm
yes.
saying, yeah, I'm saying yes as well, because sometimes there's sometimes when I'm running in Centennial Park, I can tell the type of shoe when people are pounding on the pavement. I'm like, and they go past me, I'm like, I knew it was an alpha fly, because the alpha flies, I always hear people so loud in it. So yes, but not to overtaking them.
Because they're doing sub 3 in alpha flies.
That's right. They can wear the Shanghai jacket then.
How could I forget? So question 2. Do you treat rest days the same way toddlers treat vegetables, with superstition and a bit of rage? I'm
No.
going no. So no from Tony. Tim?
I'm a no. Rest days are rest days. I'm happy to have a rest day.
Tara?
I do like my rest days. However, by the afternoon, my feet are starting to get a little bit itchy and going, I don't want to run in the afternoon or night time. I don't do it unless I'm doing night nav. So I do get a little bit antsy by the afternoon if I take a rest day, but I do respect my rest days and do them.
But
So is that a yes or a no,
Yeah.
Tara?
Oh, yeah. Maybe, and I'll say no. There's no suspicion of mild rage. So
Okay.
yes.
all right. So next one. Have you ever said, I'm just going for an easy run, and then you've come back about 2 hours later, sweating like anything and slightly confused?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Tony?
No, because whenever I'm going for an easy run, I know very clearly how long I'm going out for and how many kilometers that I'm going to do. So it's not a surprise. So if I'm going for a comfortable 5K or a comfortable 8K, that's what I tend to do, because that's what I've mapped out. I don't sort of head out the front door and say, I'm just going to go for a run and then just keep going. So my answer would be no.
Tara?
Oh yeah, I've done that many times. Where I'll be like, I'm just going for a run. I have no plans on how far I'm running for. I just go, and then I'll go easy, but it's like pushed hard, and I've done that lots of times.
I'm a no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really?
If you were going to say yes to that, Lucia, I was going to remind you about coffee, donuts,
Ice cream.
Milkshakes?
ice creams, milkshakes. Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah. I am true to myself. Now, this next one I think is going to be interesting. Do you own more pairs of running shoes than actual going out shoes, and proudly own it? I'm going yes, and I'm not afraid to admit it. Tara?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Tim?
Do work boots count as going out shoes?
Yes.
Your answer's yes, Tim.
Yes, I've got them ready.
You've got 3 shelves in the shoe rack, and they're like big. It's a big shoe rack. So
Yeah, okay. Yes, I've got more running shoes than normal shoes.
Now, this one's going to be interesting, following on from what you said earlier, Tim. When you're planning a holiday, is your first question, where can I run?
Yes, for us. Well, for me at least. Even with Launceston, we planned it out, but we're straight on to parkrun.com.au to find out where the nearest parkrun was to where we were staying. So, yes.
Tony?
I'm going to say no, because we don't plan a holiday unless we're doing a run. So planning the run is the first part, and then planning the holiday is the second part. So if we were to plan a holiday to go for 2 weeks up on the beautiful Sunshine Coast here in Queensland, my first question would be, how are we getting there? Not where can I run? Now, if I was going there, it's more likely that I'd be going there to run the marathon. But the holiday comes after planning the run, not before it. So I'm going to say no.
I'm going for no as well, and similar to your reason, Tony, because my holidays are planned around the races. I don't plan my holiday and then think, where can I run? I'd like to do that. That would be nice to plan a holiday and then think, oh, is there somewhere nice where I can run? But I don't think I'm at that point yet. Now, this
Hang
one's
on, Tara.
Oh yeah, my answer is yes. Jeez. No,
And-
no question. Even when I'm on a normal holiday, like which is very rare, it's where can I run? So yes.
All right. And just to quote John Bon Jovi, we are halfway there. And just to give you a score update, I've got 4 yeses. Tony has 1 yes. Lucia has 2 yeses. And Tara has 4 yeses at this stage. But as we know, anything happens in the second half of a race, doesn't it? So
Exactly. Now, do you guys check the weather not for fashion reasons, but to decide which pace you can brag about on Strava? Tony.
I don't brag about my pace on Strava. I might make a silly comment like sharing steak is meant to be shared, but I'm going to have to say no again. No.
Tim?
I don't brag on Strava. I just let the results speak for themselves. So
Which is
others,
a humble brag.
yes. I let everyone else get excited by my results. How does that sound? So I'm probably a no. I don't check the weather, but I do use Strava, but not for anything other than to link into Run Down Under.
Tara?
I don't check it for fashion reasons, but I do check it to see what I'm wearing for running. So I don't know if that counts, but in Tasmania, obviously, it was like I'm wearing leggings rather than shorts. So that's the only reason I check the weather for running.
Yeah, but not about bragging.
Yeah.
No, I'm never going to be fast enough to brag.
And I'm also a no, like I will check it so that way I know, is it a singlet weather? Is it t-shirt? Do I need to bring a jacket? But that's the only reason why I check it. Now, this one's a little bit tricky. Have you ever done the mental maths early in the morning to calculate how early you'd need to wake up to squeeze in a run before a flight, meeting, wedding, or giving birth to your firstborn? I'm going to go Tara first.
Yes, absolutely. Yes,
Tony?
absolutely.
No.
Tim?
Yeah, it might not be for those reasons, but I am awake in the middle of the night trying to work out if I've got to get up at this time for work, what time do I have to get up so I can do a run and squeeze in 10Ks or 7Ks or whatever it is. So, yes, it's a yes for me.
No, I'm going no. It's just no. I do my thinking the night before. No. So next one. Do you often say, I'll take it slow, and then you change your mind and you hunt down a segment PR just because you want to have the local legend status on Strava? Tara?
No. That puts too much pressure on my running. If I'm putting that sort of pressure on myself, then I'm not enjoying it. So no, I run to feel.
Tim?
I am the local legend. Can't beat the local legend. No, I don't do it. I don't do it for segment PRs on Strava, but I do often quite say I'm not feeling it today. I don't feel quick. I don't feel like I'm going to run fast. And then for whatever reason, it turns out to be a quick one. I only had that happen 2 Saturdays ago for parkruns. So I don't know if that makes me a yes or a no. I'm not running to deliberately go and set a record, but it just happens that way sometimes. So it's probably a no.
Oh. Tony?
It depends on the definition of frequently, Luch, because I do have to say, and once again, it's not about hunting a segment PR. It's about running a PR or a PB or having a test to see how quick you can go or whatever your base is. I have actually said that it's just going to be a nice slow run, and then after the first kilometre, I'm feeling good, so I just tend to up the pace. Now, it depends on this frequency definition because I don't think I do it frequently, but it has happened. So I think it's still a no.
No,
But
I think we should take it as a yes. Like,
Oh, see, I've done that though. What Tony did, and I said no. So maybe I
yeah,
need to change my answer.
I think
Right.
it's more a
Right.
no than yes. Yeah.
okay. You know, I'm a no because if I say I'll take it slow, I take it slow. I
Well, you
haven't
got to
changed.
stop for a coffee or an ice cream.
Yeah.
Mine-
I think
Mine
I'd
is.
more frequently say I'll take it slow and then think, what the bloody hell am I doing out here? So I think that's more frequent than chasing the Oh,
Oh, too funny.
does this mean I'm compulsive? No.
No, I think that was something really interesting. Now, does missing a run make you feel like you're actively losing fitness, aging, and melting into a couch?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
I hate missing a
Yes.
run. I feel lazy
Yes.
and lethargic, and my body hurts, and it takes me. Yeah, no, hate missing a run.
Do you know what? Based on those reasons, Tara, I'm going to say yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel shit at work if I don't get a morning run in on the days when I want to get a morning run in, and I actually feel pretty crap, and I regret it for the rest of the day for not doing that run.
Ask Tony. He's just missed a week of running. How do you feel, Tony?
Yeah, I don't feel great that I missed the week, to be honest. And I would have loved to have got a run in. And the plan this week is to get a run in by at least Wednesday, so I don't forget how to. Otherwise, I may have to re-educate myself that it's the right leg, left leg, right leg. So, and that's the way I feel because I don't feel great that we didn't run. So.
And that's
And it's
why
funny
we
that you
get the
say
3
that
weeks.
because every time we take, Luch.
That's why it's important to have 3 weeks.
Absolutely.
That's right. And it's funny you say that though, Tony, because Tim always says when we're on taper about to go into a marathon, he goes, I hope I remember how to run like at the start line of a marathon because, you know, you have those couple of days off beforehand and don't do anything. He's like, I hope I really remember how to run now. So exactly what you were just saying.
Now, final question. Have friends or family stopped asking, what did you do on the weekend? Because they're going to know the answer is a long run, and then you start talking about the long run. Tony.
They haven't stopped asking. They just tend to run away after they've asked. So is that a no or a yes? So how was your weekend? And like we have a catch up every Monday with my boss in Melbourne and the other coaches in the organisation, and it's always a segment of how was the weekend, what you get up to, and she always prefaces with, so I guess you had a run, Tony. And it was really weird the last couple of weeks because I said, well, no, not really. So they do ask, but they don't really want the answer. So is that a yes or a no?
That's a yes.
Yeah.
I've actually had friends because they're so used to seeing me on Strava on a Sunday morning out at Shorncliffe doing my long run. And I've had people message me on the Monday morning or the Sunday night going, are you all right? I didn't see you do your run on Sunday. So I would have to say yes to that one for me. That they haven't stopped asking, but they're actually asking why I'm not doing it when I don't do it. So I would, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a yes. I think people at work are totally bored of listening to me talking about running all the time, except for the runners in the office who do come into my office every once in a while and talk about running. But yeah, pretty much people now say, so I suppose you ran a long run on the weekend on the kitchen on a Monday morning. So yeah, that's a yes for me. Lucia?
And I'm a yes based on the similar reasons to you because a lot of people on a Monday would say to me, oh, how was your run? Where did you go running? Did you stop for a milkshake or something? So I'm a yes. Well, guys, we've come to the end of the questions. So, Tim, who's the most
Yes.
compulsive? What were the scores?
All right. So I'll start at the bottom. The least compulsive person is Tony with 3 yeses, which according to the scoring system that was developed by ChatGPT, it makes Tony a casual cruiser. Not a casual cruiser. You got 3. Sorry, the keen bean. You're a keen bean. So keen bean is somebody who loves running but can still skip a session without spiraling into an existential crisis. You're enthusiastic, committed, and only mildly unhinged. The sweet spot.
Yeah, I
Would
like
be
that.
fair?
I think
Yeah.
that describes me pretty well, to be honest. So, thanks,
There
Chatty.
you go. Put that on a running shirt. I'm a keen bean.
I'd prefer mildly unhinged. I'm mildly unhinged.
All right, Lucia, you got 4, which also makes you a keen bean. So again, you love running, but can still skip sessions, which we know, without spiraling out of control. And you're enthusiastic and committed and only mildly unhinged. So well done. You're a keen bean. And now it comes down to Tara and myself. And guess what? Who would have thought we would score exactly the same score of 7 each? Team Ellis, there you go. So as 7s out of 10, we are classified as borderline obsessed. It means running may be starting to run you. You've scheduled social life around long runs and your browser history is 90%. Can I run through this injury? A mini detox might be calling your name. There you go. That's what it is to be borderline obsessed. Now, if we'd scored 9 or 10, that would make us fully compulsive runners. And that would say that you, my friend, are the reason this episode exists. Rest days give you the heart palpitations. You plan trips around marathons. You've considered getting a tattoo of your favorite Strava segment. A detox won't kill you, I promise. And then the next dot point is probably. So that's that one. So interesting. I think it's probably right. I don't know. I think we're probably borderline obsessed, Tara. We live and breathe it, but it doesn't take over our entire life. We still have some form of social life.
We have a very good social life. Yes.
I thought I would have scored higher than that. So I'm, pleasantly surprised.
There you go. I've only got you down for 4 yeses. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So it may be worthwhile, Tony, we put this up onto our website and put the results up there and see what others get for it.
Yeah, because you didn't say what the casual cruiser was, Tim. So for our listeners out there who only scored between 0 and 2, the casual cruiser is you enjoy a jog, but you also enjoy not jogging. Running is a part of your life, but not your entire personality. Congratulations on being extremely balanced and slightly suspicious of the rest of us.
There you go. So there are casual cruisers out there. I'd probably argue Sharon, who was our guest last week, who's currently on a walking journey at the moment and not running, would probably sit in that space there. I'm not sure. Maybe Sharon can contact us and let us know. But there you go. We'll put this up on the website and on our socials.
Well, hopefully everyone enjoyed that little bit of fun. Yeah. So as Tim said, please let us know which category you fall in, because it'd be interesting to see our listener base and which one of those 4 they are. So now it's that time of the week which I know people absolutely look forward to. It's Tim's tip.
Lace up tight, real snug. Feel the ground like a friendly hug. Run past worries, leave them behind. Chase the wind, see what you find. Tim's tip, just keep your pace. No need to win, no need to race. Feel the earth, feel the sky. Tim's tip says just give it a try.
So Tim, what's your tip for the week?
Thanks, Lucia. My tip this week is you don't need to stop running. You just need to stop needing to run if you're a compulsive person, right? A small detox is probably not the end of the world. And to be honest, Tara and I are going through a bit of a detox at the moment. We didn't go down to Launceston just to do running. We did 1 run in the 4 days we were down there. So a small detox can be a very important step to helping you get better as a runner. Balance doesn't make you less of a runner. It makes you a stronger, happier one. And I can account for that as well. I probably would be more compulsive if I didn't have Tara in my life, and she probably would be more compulsive if she didn't have me in our life. There is some thought around, if you're running with somebody else for a while and focus on them, not on yourself, that it will also help you enjoy the run rather than letting it take over your life. And I think, Tara, whilst we may be, what did we say? We were slightly compulsive or whatever it was, borderline obsessed. I think we do have some balance there because we do run with each other. We slow each other down from time to time. We take it easy. We walk and talk. We use it as an opportunity for ourselves to catch up on the week that was and just talk and do all those sort of things. So there are ways to improve on it. I think the other bit around it is about just knowing some of those things which we've talked about there in that quiz. It may have been a bit of a laugh, but they are probably indicators to be mindful of, that maybe running is maybe just taking over your life a little bit too much. So yeah, that's my tip this week, Lucia.
Excellent. Thanks, Tim. Now, this episode is about to end, but just before we do that, Tony, what's on for next week?
Thanks, Luch. Next week, we're going to be sharing our first time marathon memories. All about from the terrors of training to the nerves on the start line and all the emotions we've experienced when we've crossed the finish line. We're going to recap it all. Running a marathon is a big deal, and sometimes it may feel like it's a part of what everyone is doing at the moment. All the influencers, all the run coaches that are out there. Everyone's running a marathon, but it is a big deal. And everyone's first marathon is always something special. I will certainly remember mine. We can't wait to share with you our first time experiences next week. And as we keep saying, we are the only podcast with 4 7-star world major marathoners. And as usual, it's going to be a great episode and definitely one not to be missed.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Tony. So, guys, that's it for this week's show. As usual, it's been another fun one, and I've had fun catching up with you guys and trying to determine if we are compulsive runners. We love making this podcast for you, our listeners. Please let us know what you think by sending us a message on Instagram, Facebook, or even email us at happyrunning@flyingrunr.com. Maybe you are a compulsive runner and you want to share your experiences with us. We would love to hear about it. And you can also watch this episode on YouTube, Spotify, or listen on Apple, Amazon, and all other major platforms. Every step counts. Keep running, and we'll see you next time on the Flying Runr Podcast. Happy running.
Happy running.
Teach the flying runner. Run far, run free. Host the 7 stars. Inclusive as can be.